Have you ever been in that total panic mode where you're finalizing a dream job, or maybe you need a passport like tomorrow and you suddenly realize you cannot find your certified birth certificate? We've all been there, and the clock is loudly ticking. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to take a really stressful, bureaucratic tour and turn it into a super efficient, easy-to-follow guided tour of the North Dakota online birth certificate process. Just imagine it. You're standing at the DMV or the passport agency. You've been waiting in line for 2 hours. You step up to the counter, proudly hand over that cute little birth certificate with the baby footprints that the hospital gave your parents, only to hear the dreaded words, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't accept this." Why? Because a hospital certificate actually isn't a legally binding document. Only a state-issued, certified copy with a raised physical seal is going to establish your identity. That massive difference between a family keepsake and a legal document is exactly why we're walking through this process today. So here's our agenda for today. 1. Basics and eligibility. 2. Gathering necessary documents. 3. Step-by-step online application. 4. Fees and processing times. 5. Security and common questions. And finally, 6. Conclusion and resources. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Basics and Eligibility. Now take a look at the Great Seal of the state of North Dakota. It's pretty interesting because unlike marriage certificates, which are kept at the local county level in North Dakota, birth certificates are issued straight from the state level. Specifically, they come from the Department of Health and Human Services Division of Vital Records. That official seal right there is literally what transforms a standard piece of paper into a legally binding document that proves exactly who you are to the federal government, an employer, or the DMV. Here is a kind of surprising but absolutely vital fact you need to know. In North Dakota, birth records are strictly confidential for 125 years after the date of birth. They are not public records. That means you have to fall into one of these highly specific categories to even request one. Obviously, if it's your own record and you're at least 16 years old, you're good to go. The parents listed on that exact record can also request it. Beyond that, you've got to be an authorized legal representative, have a valid court order, or represent a designated homeless youth agency. If you're an aunt, uncle, cousin, or sibling, you are entirely out of luck, unless you have a legally binding power of attorney. Moving on to Section 2, Gathering Necessary Documents. Before you even open your browser, you need to know that the state demands absolute proof that you are who you say you are. You've got 2 paths here. Path 1, you present just one clear, unexpired primary ID. This would be a state driver's license, a U.S. passport, a tribal ID card, or a U.S. military ID. But say you lost your wallet and you don't have any of those handy. Path 2 lets you provide 2 separate secondary IDs. These could be things like a utility bill or a bank statement, though both of those must be less than 3 months old and show your current address, or you could use a recent pay stub or a W-2 form. So what happens if you have absolutely none of those IDs? Say you lost everything in a house fire or a bad storm. Please, don't panic. You still have alternate legal routes. You can actually fill out the application and have your identity sworn and verified in person by a public notary. Or, alternatively, an authorized third party who holds a legal power of attorney can step in and request the document on your behalf, just using their own identification. Okay, Section 3, Step-by-Step Online Application. Consider these 4 steps your virtual hand-holding exercise. Step 1, navigate directly to the official state portal at vrcerts.hhs.nd.gov, or you can use a SOC 2 compliant authorized third-party vendor like Vital Records Online, which is also known as VRO. Step 2, you're going to accurately type in the full legal name, date of birth, place of birth, and both parents' full names exactly as they would appear on the original record. Then upload those crisp, legible photos of the IDs we just gathered. Step 3 is for special use cases, which I'll cover in just a second. And finally, Step 4, submit that form and process your payment through their encrypted checkout. Now here's a crucial detail to remember, especially if you're dealing with international plans. If you're getting married abroad, adopting internationally, or moving out of the country, a standard birth certificate just isn't enough. You actually need an apostille. That's a special authentication recognized by foreign governments. When you're ordering online, you must explicitly type the destination country right there in the comments section. The Vital Records Office will then print your certificate and literally walk it over to the North Dakota Secretary of State's office. Then, the Secretary of State will call or email you to collect an additional $10 authentication fee, plus a $5 search fee, before they mail it out. It's a fantastic, streamlined interagency process, but it only works if you remember to ask for it in the comments. Let's talk logistics and money in Section 4, Fees and Processing Times. So, the state assesses a strict $15 fee. But you really need to understand exactly how that works. This is actually a non-refundable search fee. You are paying the state $15 just to look for your record. If they search and somehow cannot find it, they keep that $15 to cover their administrative time. But if they do find your record, that single $15 fee beautifully covers both the search itself and one certified raised seal copy. Now, if you want extra copies printed at the exact same time, those are going to be an additional $15 each. Next up is timing. If you're just doing standard delivery, the state office generally processes applications in about 3 to 5 business days, and then they send it out via standard USPS first-class mail. But if you are facing a crazy impending deadline, like that flight tomorrow we talked about earlier, paying for expedited services is for sure the ultimate stress-free solution. By paying an extra $15 to $30 for Express FedEx or UPS shipping, your order literally gets bumped to next business day processing. All right, let's clear up some confusion in Section 5, Security and Common Questions. Listen closely to this one. When you order, make absolutely sure you are selecting a certified copy. Why? Because North Dakota also issues something called an informational copy. These do not have a raised seal, and they will literally arrive with a massive stamp across them reading, "Not a valid document to establish identity." Sure, they are cheaper and a bit easier to get, but they are strictly for historical or genealogical research. If you try to bring an informational copy to the passport agency, you will be sent right back home empty-handed. Now, it's totally normal to be a little worried about identity theft when you're uploading this kind of stuff online. But rest assured, the state of North Dakota and authorized third-party vendors utilize highly secure encrypted HTTPS connections. Vendors like VRO undergo rigorous SOC2 compliance audits to ensure your data is handled with top-tier security. Plus, that strict ID verification process we discussed earlier, that is the exact firewall designed specifically to prevent unauthorized people from snooping into your highly confidential family records.
We're almost done. Let's wrap up with Section 6, Conclusion and Resources.
To avoid the absolute pain of a rejected application and lost time, let's use this quick checklist to guarantee your request sails through on the very first try. First, seriously, look at the photo of the ID you are about to upload. Is it blurry? Is the camera flash covering your face? If you can't read it easily, the state clerk can't either, and they will just reject it. Second, check that expiration date. An expired driver's license is not a valid ID. Third, ensure you actually have the legal right to request the document under that 125-year rule. And finally, if you get completely stuck, there are real human beings ready to help. You can call the North Dakota Vital Records Office directly at 701-328-2360. Well, you are now fully equipped with all the knowledge you need from the source material to completely conquer this paperwork. But just a quick disclaimer, laws and bureaucratic processes can and definitely do evolve over time. It's always a smart move to double-check with the official North Dakota Department of Health and Human Services website before you kick off your application. Bureaucratic red tape might be an inevitable part of life, but as we've seen today, it really doesn't have to be intimidating. So it makes you wonder, what other confusing government processes are actually just a few clicks away from being totally demystified?